Yes, guys, welcome from me. This is Championship Manager 0102, the next chapter on the Game On Challenge with myself and Matt. Before we go any further, I didn't like the new material. I've been practicing it a little bit, adding a few tweaks to my YouTube and stuff. Let me know your feedback. I'm always intrigued to know if you prefer anything like this or if you think it'd be better just to keep it simple. So, we are at the start of Season 8, myself and Matt. I can't remember what our last session was. I know we did that monster session on Friday, the 3-hour stream, which I uploaded. So we have got now to the start of Season 8. Now, Matt, as you can see right in front of you, is still Dortmund. And as you can see, for those of you that don't know, in Germany, if you finish in the top 6, you qualify for the German League Cup. 6th to 3rd play a quarter-final, who go through to the semi-finals, who will then be up against whoever won a title and come second last season. So Matt is straight into the semi-final, as you can see. And the quarter-final is the teams that finished 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. I don't know how they determine who plays who, if it's a draw or what. So Matt will probably agree here. He won't have any objection to me saying this. Matt's time in Germany is over, really. He's desperate for a new job. He's desperate to get out of Germany. He's kept his eye open for an appealing job. I don't think an appealing job's come, and it's a shit, really, because they don't seem to come at the end of the season when you want it. They tend to come sort of around Christmas time. So he'll keep his eye open, but nevertheless, he's still utilising his transfers. So, with regards to Matt, we'll start with him first. He has been busy. He completed a hat-trick of German titles last season. He made it, so he made it 3 on the spin, but he did come short in Europe yet again, and he went out in the quarterfinals. A little bit pissed off, I think he was. He also lost the German Cup final. I think what Matt did as a mistake, in my opinion, last season, he bought in, as part of his 7 signings last season, he bought in, I know he brought in Thierry Henry, and there was somebody else he bought in. I think it was Joe Cole. It was Joe Cole. But as you can see, he brought Joe Cole in January. He brought in Henry, and they were both cup tied. So neither of them could play in the Champions League. Personally, I think that was a mistake in that sense. Whilst I did question, did he need Henry? To have Henry in your squad is absolutely phenomenal. But the objective really has to be to win the Champions League, and if Henry's not available, then... So there was his 6-7 transfers last season, and so far, they're his 4th for this season. Now, he beat me to Maldini Regen, and I was a bit pissed off, because I think I offered him more money. But I think, in fairness, right, he's really, really strengthened that defence, because that looks like the Stuart Pearce Regen, who looks an absolute monster, and he's brought in the famous Kevin Hofland. He's still got 3 more transfers in play, one of which it looks like he's going to get Agahoa. I think he was having a bit of difficulty with the medical. I am up against him on Bergkamp Regen. I don't know if I've given away then. I'm not Lazio. And he's getting Bruno in. I forgot about that. I forgot he's getting Bruno in. For me, so you've probably already gathered, I am no longer Lazio. So, for me, it was a bit of a fairy tale. I took over PSV in January of this year, so halfway through the season. It was an easy title, if I'm truly honest with you, which, I don't know, I tick Holland off my CV. But with that in mind, whilst I say it was an easy title, we did also claim the Dutch Cup and the UEFA Cup. So you could theoretically say it's a triple, but I've got a new thing in my head, right? Firstly, I need to have a full season in Holland. That's the first thing. So this is my full season. And we need to have an assault on the Champions League. Of course, I was midway through an assault with Lazio, but I'd had a season and a half at Lazio. I mean, if we just have a look at myself there in terms of Lazio. So we took over on the 3rd of November 2005. We left on the 19th of January. So, it was a good year, over a year and a half, season and a half. And after doing well at Liverpool, Paris Saint-Germain, Valencia and Lazio, we're now on the 5th phase, shall we call it. So, our transfers for last season. So when we took over, remember the rules? I can buy 7 from when I take over, and they're the 7 I got. Klomp, Tony Adams Regen, Munez, Cherno Samba, Maido, Kutuzov and John Curtis. So far this season, we needed a goalkeeper, a few familiar faces. Now, you're all looking at Neil Mellor, and you're all probably taking the piss out of me, right? But I'm going to show you Neil Mellor. That's why I got Neil Mellor. A little bit worried by the fact that he only wanted £925 a week, but you know what? Who cares? So, with last season and how we did, I can't really grumble at all. We've got one more signing. We have got some money. We've got a good set of money, but I've only got one more signing, and that's probably, Matt's up against me on Bergkamp, so I don't really know what I really desperately need. Possibly a defender, maybe a real strong defender. I don't know, but I certainly think we just brought this guy. Tell us what you think. I don't know who. He's not a regen, obviously. Seems to have developed quite well. I wanted somebody with a good creativity and crossing for the left wing. He's got no pace, though, which is a little bit worrying. Mido tends to play on the left wing. I brought this guy, you all know that guy from my old club Lazio, who were happy to get rid of him. I think Sahar's an option. He was unhappy. So the new season ahead is right round the corner for me. Of course, I'm in the Charity Shield for Holland, and I'm also in the Super Cup against Man United, who won the Champions League last season. Now, we spoke about Man United. Man United, since Matt left Leeds, as you can see, I won the title in England with Liverpool, and then Matt won it for 2 years running, then Matt left. Now, since then, Man United have just dominated English football. And last season, they won the Champions League. So, United are still, obviously, a force to be reckoned with. There's no doubt about that. Let's just see. So they're rich. Yeah, they've still got a hell of a squad. Ryan Giggs still going. Wanted by Dortmund. Okay. So it'd be interesting. Robert Malcolm. Whee. So that is that. So for me, I plan, and I do stress the word plan because you don't know, things can change if the right job comes up. But my objective, realistically, is to have a full season at PSV. But I've got this new, yet another new mentality. So it's not a big squad, but I'm finding in France, I think I had this conversation with Gary actually about Ajax. They don't half get some really, really good, prosperous players in their resi. So let's just have a quick gander at some of their players. I think some of them look, they look really decent. He's shocking, but it looks like I can get rid of him on loan. Rutten's already out on loan. Another one. I think some of them look. There was one. I think there was one 21-year-old somewhere. It's not actually a big squad. Who was my 21-year-old? I thought I had a. Oh, maybe I fucking put him somewhere. I don't know. Matt. It was that guy, Mass. So I did actually make a surprise sale. I mean, it gave me a bit of money, but I offloaded Franca, who was absolutely phenomenal for me last season. But his contract was unprotected and he wasn't signing a new deal. So, subsequently, he left for £3.8 million, which obviously gives me a little bit of money to work with. I recently sold Eric Adu. You could argue that. I did miss him for a bit of last season with the African nations and injury. A few players that have gone, they've outstayed their welcome, it's fair to say. Now, remember, the funny thing is PSV sold, do you remember, they sold Robben. I tried to get him at Lazio. I ended up getting Rio Ferdinand at Lazio. I built a really, really good team. I don't know if Matt applied for Lazio, in all fairness. I think he did, but he didn't want to follow me at Lazio like he did at Paris Saint-Germain. And I said this about the Valencia thing. I get that. I really do get that. Interesting thing for me is that Valencia, my former team in Spain, surrendered the title in Spain. Paris Saint-Germain, my former team, surrendered the title in France. And Liverpool, well, we've already spoken about Liverpool, haven't we? And Lazio did as well in Italy. So it was a good day for all my exes. How'd you like that? So Sami Hyypiä, he left. We had several players disappear, go, pulled a little bit of money here and there. I didn't sell Brugink. Did I? No, I didn't, because I didn't take over till January. So we've sorted out our coaching and stuff like that. It's a big thing that I like to really focus on. So like I said, still one more player to arrive, one more big player to arrive, but it's not a big squad. And you may argue, why did I buy that free transfer goalkeeper? when I've only got a cap of 7 players. It's about getting depth, really. I brought in this guy from the Rezzies, but Coutinho is going to more than likely be my number 1. He played most of last season. Was really, really gutted because last season Coutinho was injured and the backup goalkeeper, this shower of shit, had to play in both cup finals, the UEFA Cup and the cup final, which we fortunately went on to win anyway. So we had a real remarkable season, I think it's fair to say. So we are the only world-class manager in Holland, and we are, well, look at that. Well, we are both still world-class, to be fair. It's hard to say who, I mean, Matt's down as number 2, I'm down as number 8. We are both world-class, but there's a lot of managers as world-class. Sometimes I think this is just such bollocks, because, you know, Deportivo, I'll let that go, Deportivo. Man United, I'll let go. Barcelona, Milan, Roma, okay. I don't quite know why Hertha Berlin manager is fucking there. Or Arsenal, for that matter. Or Real Madrid. We know Real Madrid's been shit. Just to remind you on this game, or to remind particularly yourself as well, Matt, when we do managerial changes, it's worth noting that we do have Belgium open, Argentina, Brazil, which does mean we can obviously get jobs in there if ever we fancy it. Russia, and obviously Portugal. Now Portugal, let's just see if they're still. Yeah, they are still there. Benfica, very insecure. I think we've both been keeping an eye on that. Probably more so Matt than me with Benfica. They surrendered the title in Portugal last season. I say surrendered it. They've surrendered it for the last 2 years, but. The interesting thing about Benfica is that they have an absolute amazing stadium. Look at that, 90,000. They are rich. I don't know. I mean, it's not the greatest squad in the world, but it would be interesting. It would be very, very interesting to see how they flare up. I mean, rich. I mean, you're in Portugal. The price of the players won't be as much. You know, it should be. I don't want to say an easy title, but. It would be very, very interesting just to see how that goes. So, that's it then. That is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed all these new effects. One more effect to go, by the way, guys. Right at the end. Get ready. If it works, because I'm having to fucking piss around. And until next time from me, guys, take it easy.